brief overview of the allocation process for the 2020-2021 school year. So this is for all new and returning student groups. So starting off with the allocation request form. So all information that you're going to need to start your allocation request can be found on our student government website, which is morningsidesg.com. So we can head over there now. I'm just going to do a sample so you can see how the allocation request process works. So first you'll head to our website, and if you go under student organizations and the allocations tab is where you'll find all the information you need. The first important thing on this page is going to be the remaining allocation balance. So this number is going to be updated every Tuesday after our Senate meetings, which are at 6:30 in the student government office. This is the total available funds that we have for allocations. Each group that is registered with student government is eligible to receive up to $5,000, and this can be at different times or all at once. So each Tuesday, once groups allocate, and whether they're approved or not, this number will continue to change and go down throughout the school year. Next is the allocation process. So this video kind of summarizes these points here, but if you need to look back, this is the checklist that you should follow when submitting an application and the steps that follow for the allocation process. And finally are some guidelines for allocation requests. So these are just some of the more basic and most common guidelines that groups have questions on or just are concerned about when submitting an application. So more information on guidelines can be found in our bylaws, or questions can be sent to myself at my email, which is listed here. So the next step, once you are a registered group and you're ready to request an allocation, is to go ahead and click this allocation request form. So that's just going to take you to a basic Google form. You'll put your group name. So I can give an example here. I'll put student government, followed by the president's email of your organization, then the student contact email. So the student contact email for the allocation process, you typically want to make that the treasurer of your organization, or maybe the student that's going to be handling your finances for the event, and then the advisor email. So once you submit this form, that lets me know that you guys are ready to request an allocation. This year, since we're going all paperless, our allocation request forms will be via Adobe Sign. So once you have all that information set, you will receive an email that looks something like this. It's through Adobe Sign for the allocation request form. So you're just going to select Review and Sign. And this is going to be sent to the members of your organization based on the order in which you completed this form. So this document is first going to be sent to your president. Again, these are some of the basic guidelines that we outlined and talked about on the website earlier, so feel free to look through that before you start your application. So just starting here, all asterisk sections need to be completed before you can submit this form. So I'm just going to go through and do just some basic information. So name of organization, student government. This next section here is your account number. So this will be the number that is listed. Every organization should be registered with the business office and have an account there. That's going to be how we'll transfer the money from student government's account through an interdepartmental transfer into your organization's account on campus. I'll just make up a number there. Faculty contact is just going to be your advisor. I'll just put some basic information in here. Alrighty. Is your organization registered with student government? So like I mentioned before, in order to receive an allocation from student government, you must be a registered group. If you have not done so already, the easiest way to do it is just to head back to our website, go to the Student Organizations tab, and select New Group, and you can complete the form from there. So back to our form, amount requesting. So this is just going to be your expected amount. So let's say I'm requesting $150. What is the purpose? Maybe I'm throwing an event on campus. You can be a little bit more detailed here. So Maybe I'm going to say hosting a speaker for campus. The date of the event, and then specific information. This is just helpful for both the Senate and the Finance Committee to take a peek at when we're trying to get a good breakdown of your finances. So since this is an on-campus event, I'm not going to need any specific money for anything. The next question is just asking for the detailed financial information of your group for the entire year. So this can just be sent via email to myself. Just a simple form will do. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Next is going to be listing specific incomes for the event. So let's say you received a grant from a community organization to help put on this event, and maybe you just need a little bit of extra funding through student government. So you could say that community funding, I received $10. And then a detailed expenses. So maybe I'm requesting $50 for, I don't know, a speaker system or something like that. How many members are attending? And then this event is just, or this section is if you will be staying overnight for a conference or anything like that. Just include some more information. I'm going to put NA. And then how will this allocated event benefit our campus? So just take the time here to put a couple sentences. This is really important for the Finance Committee and our senators to look at, to know how this event is not only going to benefit you and your organization as students, but also Morningside as a whole. So you can add some information here. I'm just going to type out some numbers just to complete the form. So then we get to the very bottom, and this is going to be where the president will sign. So like I said, this is going to go first to your president. So if you want to have your student treasurer there or your student contact to fill out the form, they would need to be there in person or assisting via Zoom or something like that to help fill out this form. So the president's going to sign. You can type it or you can draw it. You can do it on your phone. There's a lot of different options. So I'll just sign my name here and type it in and hit apply. So once I send that through and hit click to sign, that form is now going to go to your student contact. So I've set mine up to go to Kiki Bennett. So she would receive it next and she would sign, and from there it would get sent to John Smith, who I listed as our contact for our advisor. And once that's done, we can move back to what your next steps are. Let's go over here. So after that form is submitted, all that information will move on to the Financial Committee and the Finance Committee for Student Government. So this group just takes a peek at the form, make sure all the information is correct. If it is, and if it passes through, I'm going to send you an email to the financial student contact that you listed and let them know that, hey, your allocation request has passed through the Finance Committee. It'll now be moving to the Senate. And if it did not pass, I'm going to email you back and just let you know, hey, maybe you missed this section on the application or something like that. After it passes through committee, the allocation will then need to be presented to the Senate. This occurs in chronological order, so if I received a request from Group A at 9:20 p.m. and then a request from Group B at 10 p.m., Group A is going to present first, and then presentations, no more than 5 minutes, just a little conversation about what your group is, what your event is that you're planning to use the allocation for, maybe a little bit more of a budget breakdown on how you're planning to spend your allocation, and then senators will be allowed to ask questions throughout that presentation. So if the Senate passes, a majority vote is needed to pass the allocation. So if you receive that majority vote and your allocation is completed, you'll move on to the next step, which is filling out an interdepartmental transfer form. So I will email you this slip for instructions. So all the starred areas are what need to be completed by your group. So you'll need to put your name that is listed on your account here, and then that account number that is listed through the business office for your group, a short description, and then the signature of your advisor is listed here, as well as the date. Once you email that back to me, I'll fill out the rest and get it off to the business office so that money can be transferred into your account. So once you've completed your event and you've used your allocation funds, any leftover funds is just going to be transferred back using the same form last time, just the other way, back towards student government account. All receipts that you used from the event can be scanned or taken a picture of or something like that and then emailed back to me just so we can keep track of those expenses. We do undergo an audit each year, so it's important that we have that information on file. And then finally, a follow-up form is going to be sent using the same Adobe Sign feature that you use to complete your allocation request form. This is just a brief follow-up on how the money was spent, how the event impacted your group, and how it will impact campus and things like that. And that form has to be completed within 2 weeks of the event. If you have any questions about the allocation process, any of the bylaws, or any of the documents that you need to submit or request, feel free to email me at mrm019 or just stop by the student government office and I would be happy to answer any questions you guys have. So thank you so much and have a great rest of your year.